Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about our first complete month of documented comic selling. So I created a spreadsheet. I'm not going to lie, I am not a genius, so I got good old ChatGPT to give me a hand with it all. It is documenting how many comics I listed per day. It documents how many comics we sold. It documents sell-through rates. It doesn't really so much go into monetary value yet, but yeah, overall for a first month of documenting it, I didn't realize how well I was doing. I spoke last time about sell-through rates and how I'd like to achieve at least 10%, and we smashed that. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of a spoiler there, but yeah. We'll go through the sales for the day, for yesterday, sorry, and then we'll go through the spreadsheet. I'll explain it all, and I'll show you how I keep track of it for now. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be a really good journey. So if you like, subscribe, maybe learn something. Actually, I said I was going to be learning from you guys, but I think I'm doing not bad for someone who is a complete rookie. But anyway, here's the sales. So, to round the month off, this is our sales from yesterday. So, we had, and I'm prepared to eat my own words here, because I was talking about how there was a certain comic in some of the previous videos that I knew nothing about and wasn't sure if it would, sit around for a while, or, I'm not against indie comics. I just don't know enough about them to see whether they sell or not. You're obviously going to have your good ones, Walking Dead, Invincible, they're going to go. But this, from one of our sales, we had Avengers Twilight, Avengers number 64, Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme, and Biker Mice from Mars, the one that I still know nothing about, but hey, someone's going to learn about it. I hope we get more then. If this sold so quickly, this was listed a couple days ago, sold, that's perfect. That's all I want from it. So hopefully we get more and we see a trend that it's a popular franchise, and I'll keep an eye out for it in future. And somebody came and bought the X-Force variant that we listed the other day, along with Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. Storm doesn't get enough praise. I think Storm is just fantastic. And then, literally, on the midnight, just before it was coming towards the next day, I relisted Blood Hunt 5 and Blood Hunt 2 from the big sale from yesterday. And someone came along and went, oh, you've got the whole set. So they bought Blood Hunt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Blood Hunt 1 and Blood Hunt 4 are the standard versions, not the red band ones, but either way, they still bought a full set. So, this is the month of June's spreadsheet. Why are you all highlighted? Off. There we go. Okay. So, I'm not going to go through every day, but we're just going to go with how the spreadsheet actually works. So, the first column is the number of listings that there was at the start of the day. So, this day started with 302 listings. And then 23 comics were added, and there's a relisted tab as well if there's ever ones I want to delete and relist, like the ones at the bottom that are not as great pictures, which then gives you a new total active listings, which is now at 325, and then on that day 22 comics were sold, giving us a sell-through rate for the day of 6.77%. Now, we're not worried. I personally am not too worried about the sell-through rate of the day. I like to see the sell-through rate for the month. So for those that didn't see it last time, sell-through rate is basically when you have your stock and then how much of that stock you sell over a month. If you have 300 items and you sell 30 items over the month, you've got a 10% sell-through rate. That 10% is what I'm looking to achieve for my month. That's what I'm going off of, and that's why constantly listing is important, because If by next month we've got 500 listings, then, and we're aiming for that 10% sell-through rate, we're going to have 50 sales. And 10% is not a lot. I've learned that pretty quickly over this month that, especially with smaller numbers like this, it's very easy for numbers to come your way. What I noticed was days where I listed heavier resulted in comics being sold heavier. So let's have a casual look at the start of the month, right? 23 comics were listed, 22 comics were sold, 27 comics were sold next day, 29 comics were listed the next day. So that day alone, 6 were sold, and the next day 29 were sold. 26, 29, 15 were sold listed that day, 28 sold that day. 40, although this is probably the one that's a bit breaks that rule, but in the 12th we listed 43. That's when we really smashed through a lot of the Detective Comics ones. We had a great system, me and Helen, where I basically did the pictures and I sent her what I wanted the title to be and the description and the ISBN, because you need that on Vinted, and she just bashed in the number of the issue. So I put my images up, she then did the numbering, and it was really fast. Really only works with doing runs though, because constantly trying to find ISBNs and stuff to get it listed on Vinted takes a little bit of time. But although, yes, that day 2 sold, consistently the days after, 11 sold, 10 sold, 11 sold, 45 sold. No discounts on those. That would have just been several different orders. I generally wish I had documented this journey just a little bit earlier, just to show you how busy it was this month with sales. I really did try to push listings to exceed sales. So when I started, we were at the 302. You can see that no matter the sales, there's been dips, but we were getting higher and higher and higher. Towards the end of the month, you can see 9 listings, 1 listing, 6 listings, 4. With the anomaly of the 20, that's when you start to see the 0 days show up. 1 sale, 7. And if it wasn't for the massive sale, although I have noted that they were at 125 each when we sold 72, I don't think our tail end of the month would have done very well. Is there other factors of people aren't paid till the end or the start of the month? Potentially. We're going to find that out as time goes on. We've got our other months here. I think this is going to be a good video to do at the start of every month and see what's improved, what's not. But basically, when we get to the end, I don't like to see snapshots of days, although you can see some good points there. Overall, we listed 476 comics. So, what's that? At least 15 a day we did, right? Then we've got the average. So this is how we work out the monthly sell-through rate, and this is where it gets mad for me, because we're aiming for 10%. When you take the total active listings across here, I then add them up and divide it by 30 to give you an average. Our average there was always 402 listings. We sold 366 comics. We achieved a sell-through rate of 90%. If you ask any shop, any retail shop, any eBay store, if you got a 90% sell-through rate when you have nearly 400 items, they're going to just be like, I would think that they'd be very impressed with those numbers. Is that number going to happen every month? No, it's not. I mean, you're never, my God, imagine you get to 1,000 listings and you sell 90% of it, 900 sales. That'd be amazing. That would be genuinely amazing. I just don't think that's going to be realistic. What would be great though is, although I'm aiming for 10, we can see that the model works. So as we gain more listings, because we've got to improve it every month. Although we've dipped towards the end there, I was actually aiming for 500. I was. Then that 72 hit, and don't get me wrong, sales will always be more appreciative than number of listings. I'd rather have 500 listings and sell 250 than have 1,000 listings and sell nothing. That's just math. But just to see scalability, we want to see that our listings always outperforms our sales, as long as that's a key metric. So we've had 366 sales. I just can't believe we shifted that many comics in just 30 days. So if you want to take an average there, it's like we sold 12 a day consistently. And yes, although some of that was the 125 bundle, some of that would have been £2, some of that would have been the 180, 190. If you want to still take the average of 150, that's still calculator time, because maths ain't that good. 366 times £1.50 is £549. So I know there's cost of bags and boards to consider, but that would mean that 366 sales is covering our future lot of 1,500 comics. You're probably wondering about packaging, postaging, fees, all that kind of stuff. Because it's Vinted, we don't do fees. Seller pays fees. Have looked into... We dabble on eBay. Maybe one or two of these sales have come from eBay. But with the fees and stuff of it coming back onto us, it just doesn't work. We'll talk about why I don't think eBay works for this model. Maybe it will in the future, but at the moment I just struggle with it. And I would love to be proven wrong, or maybe just doing it completely wrong. That's totally possible as well. But then, in terms of packaging, we'll cover this another time, but actually we've managed to get a lot of local shops to just supply us with cardboard from their deliveries, and we do it that way. So the only costs we have in terms of our packaging is tape. And we just buy that bulk, so it costs nothing. It doesn't cost nothing, but it costs something. But it's negligible across this. I would say this month I spent £15 in tape because I bought 2 bulk loads, but I have enough to last another 3 or 4 months. Unless we get busier. But if we get busier, then it doesn't matter. So yeah, there's a lot of positives to take from this. 476 listed. 366 sold, 90% sell-through rate. I don't think we'll beat the sell-through rate next month, but I'd love to beat the sales next month, and I want to get those listings even higher. Totally forgot to say what I plan to list tonight. I think I'm going to list a little bit more than what I say, or try to. If you do any kind of reselling, and this is going to get mentioned a lot, listing is the worst thing. It's just... it's just boring. Like, you can have so much passion for what you're doing, but listing is just boring. But anyway, let's talk about what I'm going to try list tonight. I'm trying to list a few things that are a bit different, and that I don't know much about, to see what kind of momentum it gets. So I've got Khazar from the Savage Land. Although I know the Savage Land, I don't really know much about Khazar, but let's see how he does. Some of it is also just generic kind of good stuff, but we've got Batman. It's like, what was it? That's right, Legends of the Dark Knight. That's the one. I was thinking Urban Legends, but got confused. We're going to the Hellboy universe with Lobster Johnson, and then I found these. It's a little kind of, I think it's a run or like some kind of set. I've not even looked inside to see what it is, but I'm going to assume it's kind of like a sort of best of type idea. But we've got Marvel Snapshots Submariner, Marvel Snapshots The Fantastic Four, Marvel Snapshots The X-Men. Then I found The Rise of Ultraman. Really don't know much about this at all. But it's a variant copy. It's clean. It looks a bit fun. So, yeah, give that a go. Then these ones aren't so much like experimental, but I said I got to push the Fantastic Four thing. So I found X-Men and Fantastic Four. I found Future State, the next Batman. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'll sit for very long. And then we've got number 1 of the Exiles. I do roughly remember this coming out. I want to say it's a few years old now. I can't see any dates on, but yeah, I mean, you've got Scott Young kind of, don't know mirrors, Scott Young kind of Wolverine here. I remember it was like if I remember rightly, this is kind of like a multiversal Guardians of the Galaxy type of idea. But I don't think that will sit for very long. Just being a number 1, people more likely take a punt on it if they haven't seen it before. But yeah, and we'll pick up some other stuff as well. We've got the Forbidden Planet stuff coming. I didn't get a notification that it was like dispatched today because they ain't exactly Amazon. They're gonna take a few days, I think. So yeah, I might go take another short box from my backlog and just work through that. Might show you that tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. But basically, to round it all off, I think we listed a good amount for the month. I think we sold a good amount for the month. I should have been more consistent for the month. If I had to not beat myself down, never do that. If I had to have a gentle critique, it would be I should have been more consistent with the volume of listing. I'd like to beat that this month. I'm gonna try list a good amount this month. But the thing is, as with all reselling businesses, even though it might not necessarily be better, you get more excited about the new stuff that comes in. So this Forbidden Planet stuff is going to come in, and I'm going to be more excited about that than anything I've got in my short boxes. And my short boxes might be 10 times better than what I get from Forbidden Planet, but we just get excited about new stock. And then in the few weeks after that, when the 1500 lot comes in, which is being classed as dealer stock, so we're going to cover that a lot. What if this was justified as dealer stock? The only criticism I have of this deal that I've done is it's taken a long time to put together. In my opinion, I want to say I ordered this like near a month ago, and it's still not like been picked and ready. The guy said he was busy, but we'll judge it once it comes in. If it's something we'll do again, but for the time it's taken, it's been a bit slow. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to, and I hope you tune in. And I'm losing my words. I don't know why this happens from time to time. I should just go like, subscribe, and see you in the next one, which I hope we do.